They had cranes so that the actors and actresses could literally be flying through the air. Like, it was pretty cool to be a part of that. And for me, the fulfillment comes when I see it on the screen. You know, I'm like, yeah, I did that.
Beautiful surprise. Hey, what is the fastest way to lose a film day before you even press record? Well, today we're joined by Dr. Vikki Johnson. She is the DC Film Office's lead film permit tech, and she has over a decade of experience within this system. Now, don't run away. This is not a generic how-to, but it is a great guide for filmmakers to understand the information they may be missing, what gets approved quickly, what triggers a delay, and how to film in DC like a pro. From Allegory Productions, and we'll name this agency later, this is the opening scene with Cam Lawson and Dr. Vikki Johnson. I'm really excited to sit with you. Thank you for joining us in the opening scene.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. You have a very critical role when it comes to DC film and in the industry as a whole for helping people to film in the area. If I recall your title correctly, lead film permit tech?
Yes.
Okay. Help me understand what that means, because as an independent producer, someone who's doing it for the first time, someone who might be floating around just sees that title, might have no idea what that means.
So I am the beautiful surprise.
I love that.
Right? As a part of the filming process here in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Because what we often hear in our exit surveys after the permit application has been completed is we didn't expect it to be so easy. And my job, as well as my colleagues, our intent is to get you to yes, to the full manifestation of what your vision is for your project. So lead film permit technician means that you apply for a permit to use public space in Washington, D.C. A little secret, if you're filming on private property or inside a location, you only need permission from the owner or the property manager.
Okay.
In D.C., we consider public space the roadways, the streets, the sidewalks, and alleyways. If you're filming in any of those spaces, which may include B-roll, establishing shots, driving shots, walk and talk shots, interview, man on the street shots, you need film permits for that. So you apply through our website to get a film permit application to be in those spaces with permission. That's the layperson's
I love that
understanding, to be in public space with permission. And any sidewalk in D.C., even in front of private homes, is public space.
Okay.
The streets and neighborhoods, public space. Alleyways, public space. So you need a permit for that.
You said a couple different things. You said it's become easier.
Yes.
And also you said public space.
Yes.
Now in D.C., there's public space. There's also a lot of federal land.
Yes.
So I want to ask the question around the federal part of it. And you mentioned the sidewalks. Imagine if I'm walking along the Washington monuments and I'm going past the reflection pool. Is that considered federal or public space because it's a sidewalk?
The sidewalks belong to the city.
Okay. And so if I wanted to film...
Start with us because we have great intra-agency and interagency relationships, even cross jurisdictions. U.S. Capitol Police, National Park Service, MPD, we have those relationships. So start with us so that you're not having to piecemeal the process of, well, who do I get permission from for this location or this location? Start your application with our office, the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment, affectionately known as OCTFME, but I've heard other colleagues in D.C. government call it OCTFME. I'm like, what? That's a lot. D.C. Film Office, right? Just apply for a permit, and then we'll review what your vision is.
Yeah.
And say, we can permit this. For this, you need to go here. For this, you need to go here. Here's the link. Here's the phone number.
Treat you all as the hub.
Absolutely.
You also said another part of that, which was you are the beautiful surprise, which I think you should put that as your job title as opposed to the lead technician. Just a suggestion there.
Thank you, Kim.
Absolutely. Please take it. No hard and set rule there. But the beautiful surprise that it's easy.
It
to
is
do it?
easy. It's easier than people expect.
What
And
has
I
made
like
it
to
easy?
say easy. I think it starts with our intent to be a partner in your production, in your vision. People think, oh, I need a permit. Oh, that's going to take forever. Oh, it's going to be hard. Oh, you won't be able to talk to anybody. Oh, DC government, has a reputation. And our goal, my goal, having been there now for almost 10 years, is to flip that. Like, you want to call Vikki. You want to call the office. You want to call, Herbert Niles. You want to call Lakeisha Wells. You want to call Don Napoleon. Like, our team now, our director, Latoya Foster. Like, our goal is to get you to yes. We want to help you, right? We're not here to say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And a lot of people, that's their expectation. So our processing time, is efficient if you give us enough time.
What's that time window?
A minimum of ideally 2 weeks, right? But we'll process it 7 days, maybe sooner if it's a simple permit. But we're asking for that window of time. There are applications that came in before you. So while your request may be a simple request, it's quite possible there might be 10 applications in front of you that came in before you, right, that are more detailed. So the nuance of it all is managing the timing of your production, what's required for your production, if you need to go outside of our agency, if you need to revise your certificate of insurance because you did not have the government of the District of Columbia and the full address, 1350 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C.,
Sounds like
as
real experience here.
as the additional permittee holder at the bottom left corner, like I'm giving you what to do, right? So you don't have to redo the COI. If we have everything we need, we can get you permitted and you can get to filming, which is what you want to do.
Maybe to name it very concretely, because you just start going through, I feel like, real world experiences. You see a whole lot of permits come to your desk, and so you might see a lot of perfect ones. You might see a lot of, oh, this could have just been a little bit better. What's a common mistake that you see that comes across your desk for permits that is 100% avoidable by filmmakers?
I'll stick with the COI, the Certificate of Insurance. That lower box in the lower left corner of the certificate insurance is blank, or it has the name of the production company, when really it's to indemnify the production against any liabilities and damages in case you destroy some property, in case somebody gets hurt. The government of the District of Columbia wants to be protected as well. So our name needs to be on your COI. And it's a really simple fix. On our website, there's an example of it. This is what it literally should look like. And I think a lot of times, because creatives are visionaries anyway, and I'm one too, so I know the overthinking that happens. And so our role is to say, hey, pause, breathe, we've got you. It's not that difficult. It's really not. And we're here to help you get to your first shoot date.
You mentioned the difficulty of, or the lack of difficulty that actually it should be present within a permitting process. For you, when you get a lot of different permit requests, is there something that you're automatically thinking about when you look at it, like maybe top 3 things that come to your mind that say, this is easy, this is complex?
Well, the number of days.
Okay. That the permit's requesting.
Yes.
Got you.
It can be 1 day. It can be 100 days, right? For larger productions or productions that want to film multiple days in a window of time. So I'm looking at the dates. I'm looking at the locations. Do I need to refer this applicant to another agency to get permitted? Do they need parking? Production parking. And in D.C., production parking is waived for production vehicles.
The fee?
The fee is included with the permit.
How much does a permit cost?
Depending on the number of days you're filming and the size of your cast and crew determines the fees that you pay. So it can be as low as $180 all the way up to $2,300. It just depends on the size of your casting crew. Still photography is a set fee of $180.
Okay. What is an example that you would point to where the permit process took the filmmaker by surprise and it worked out for the better? I think about, as you said, some filmmakers come to you and they're hesitant even to come to you. They think it's going to be complex.
Yeah.
And they come to you, the beautiful surprise gives them with a very simple and straightforward process to the point that they come back and they're almost like, we have to do this again.
My friends, my film family, they're like, yeah, call Vikki. And they just start telling people, call Vikki. When you go, call Vikki. She can help you. How easy it is to get the permit. Once we go through the steps, we email you the permit. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to come and pick it up. That's a nice surprise for people that, oh, you're just going to email it to me? Oh, that was great. This was so quick and easy. Thank you so much.
I guess that's not typical.
I'm not sure what the process is in other cities. Gotcha. Other cities may need hard copies. You do have to get a hard copy if you have parking, because you need to put a copy of the permit on the dashboard of each production vehicle that matches the emergency or EMP signs, we call them, which stands for emergency no parking signs, that you have to post. Those two documents have to align so that parking can be reserved and enforced on behalf of the project. Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm looking for. Is it just B-roll? You know, do you need street closures? Do you need intermittent traffic control, which requires MPD support in their special operations division? And I will insert that if you want a street closure or intermittent traffic control, you need as much lead time as possible.
So beyond the 2 weeks now that we're
months,
talking about.
If possible, like months in advance. If you know that, at least 30 days, because special operations, which is SOD and Metropolitan Police Department, they don't just do film support. They do dignitary support. They do details for the president, for dignitaries, for the mayor, special event support. They need lead time as well.
Right. Plan it all out.
I'm telling you, Cam, when people plan well in advance, it's a pleasant experience.
It's the mark of professionalism, I assume, especially when it comes to permitting. You kind of just know if I'm coming to you asking for a permit that I don't need for another 3-4 months, you might look at me differently than like the person who's coming to you.
I'm like, thank you.
2 days or 3 weeks before.
Thank you so much.
Harassing you, trying to get it done.
Yeah, thank you so much. And there are times, right, where productions need something quickly. And, you know, I remember during the pandemic, for example, when the world was shut down and D.C. also was shut down, we were doing permits occasionally during the pandemic, which was really interesting. Like, I'll always remember that, you know, people having to film in the midst of all of what I like to call the quiet chaos, because it was like this deafening silence during that time. But we were doing permits during that time as well. I just used to be in awe of, you know, people having to be outside around people during that time.
I want to take it back to the different ways people might come to you for permits. One thing that is, I think, fairly unique in the D.C. area, especially just within the Beltway, but D.C. just in general, is the no-fly zone for drones. And I believe that there are probably a lot of requests that probably come to you about drones.
So I chuckled because when I first started doing permits, drones were not really the request. People were flying helicopters.
You're correct.
Right? So we used to get a lot of requests for a letter of support. It's called an aerial support letter.
Okay.
And the filmmaker has to apply for a waiver to fly through the no-fly zone. Then it was helicopters, which was fascinating, right? And they would get approved for it that's even more advanced time, because now you're including a federal review, federal waiver, and approval. The drones, I think, changed the opportunity or expanded the opportunity, if you will, for people to get more aerial footage and stock footage. There is a particular vendor, I'm telling you, they must have applied for an aerial support letter every other week during the pandemic, right? Got so much footage, like highly requested footage, aerial footage of DC. They started a stock footage company.
Oh, wow.
So that filmmakers, if they want to come and get it themselves, they can. But if not, they can just reach out. This is the scene we're looking for. And this particular company probably has every view because that's all they did. They weren't really working. And he was out there with a drone, just getting information, getting footage, getting content.
It's easier to do the drone permit or clearance, I guess, if you will, during COVID when there's no people around, there's no cars, so like the danger and the safety process of it
so
is
it has
simpler.
expanded to drones now,
right?
And you still need that waiver, especially now.
How do you access how does that waiver differ from like a permit? Do I still have to go through the permit process to get that waiver for
you
the
just
drone,
need the waiver
Okay.
if all you want is aerial footage. If it is in conjunction with filming taking place on the ground, you need both.
Okay. For the permits, moving away from drones, just in permits in general, why do permits get denied?
Not enough time
Okay.
or out of jurisdiction,
How do you mean?
meaning they only want to film on National Park Service property. So we will deny the permit and then refer you to the appropriate agency so that you can get a permit. But rarely do permits get denied. It's just, are you with the right agency? Do you have the right support that you need? If you want to do a gunfight in the middle of U Street with no police support, or you want to be in an alleyway, and part of the scene is this couple gets into an argument or these two people get into a fight and you don't have a request for MPD support, we're not going to give you a permit for that. Like if other agency support is required, we confirm that the support is in place and attach that to your file for us to have so that we know MPD is aware of what you're doing, and they will be on site. Big request for weapons.
You have a request to allow weapons? What do you mean?
We have a gun scene in our movie,
Okay.
in our production. It's not a real gun. It just looks like a real gun. That's a part of what we want to do. And then there's a car chase, we want to get out and we want to do this gunfight. Well, not only do you need MPD support, you have to get the weapons approved. And then MPD holds on to the mock weapons. Then they bring them to the set. They are there while you're shooting that scene. They take the mock weapons back to MPD headquarters, and then you get that back after you wrap.
Wow.
That's how it's supposed to happen.
I think you did use that word intentionally. Supposed to happen.
That's how it's supposed to happen.
Doesn't happen all the time.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Okay.
I don't have any video evidence.
Yeah.
I bring that up because I think it's important for the safety of public safety is number one, and that is top of mind for our team when we're doing permitting. It's public safety. Not only safety of your cast and crew, but safety of people who just may be looking, who may be watching. Handmaid's Tale is a very popular one. That was filmed on the mall.
Yeah.
And the people who just happened to walk up and see the filming were a part of, the actual show. I just say public safety is important because I recall a production doing a scene in an alleyway at 11:30 at night without police support. And the neighbors thought it was real. So what did they do?
Call it the actual.
They called 911. And it became a thing.
Yeah.
That's top of mind for me. And that is what I want to avoid for you.
That's what made me wonder about why or if grants or what the reason the grants might get denied was just because it's this hard line of like what is filmmaker friendly and what is community safety and like how you have to actually balance that decision when you see that come across your
So
task
what we do, there is a recommendation we have, and that is just to notify the neighbors what you're doing. Like if you have this huge production where we have had large productions, they have a large footprint in a residential neighborhood. First, contact the ANC.
ANC?
Which is the Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner, which is an elected position. You're like the neighborhood council person in D.C., which works with city council, which works with the mayor. So it's really just another construct within the government. And so your ANC commissioner, they usually have listservs or email blasts that they can send out to let neighbors know. This production will be in our neighborhood on these days. This is what's happening. Parking may be restricted. Plan accordingly, right? So those are the kinds of recommendations that we make when you're going to impact a location in a certain way. We want you to do as much advance work so that you get the buy-in. Most neighborhoods are excited that a production is there.
Can imagine.
And they cooperate with the production. It's when they're blindsided. They come home, can't park.
Yeah.
You know,
All that
and they
commotion.
usually use street parking when they come home from work at night. And they're like, what? I can't even drive down my street. What is going on? That's when we start getting the phone calls. And that's when City Hall, Mayor's office, council people start getting phone calls. And then they in turn call our office, like, what's going on? So one word that I learned at a previous job is to over-communicate. You know, being in production for years, decades really, over-communication is key. Like, I'd rather tell you too much and you say, Vikki, I got it. You don't have to keep telling me that. Well, repetition is the key to mastery, right? So if you hear it over and over and over again, then you will move with that knowledge, right? And be at ease and be able to really flow and stay in your creative genius rather than worried about, am I breaking rules? What does it look like? Do I have to be looking over my shoulder? No, we want to support you. And we do come to the set, not to enforce anything. We're not an enforcement arm, but we like to see our work too, right? Because when you're in pre-production, at your storyboard, when you're able to see that come to life, we're like, yeah, we did that. And I often think about Captain America. But even bigger than that before was Wonder Woman.
I was going to say Wonder Woman.
1984, that was a lot of work. That was a lot. I mean, 11 o'clock p.m., midnight. I'm talking about the permitting part.
I was going to say, what about the permits had you on a 24-hour kind of loop getting that done?
Because of the size of the production, I literally shut down Pennsylvania Avenue, shut down Georgetown. They had to redress streets in Georgetown to make it look like 1984, and it was in the 2000s. Coordinate communication with residents in Georgetown. They had cranes so that the actors and actresses could literally be flying through the air. Like, it was pretty cool to be a part of that. And for me, the fulfillment comes when I see it on the screen. You know, I'm like, yeah, I did that.
Beautiful surprise. You were mentioning just the process for, say, Wonder Woman 1984 when it came here, and the massive amount of overhauling that you have to do. You're shutting down streets, remaking the streets to make it look like it was 1984, the cranes. I was curious about the process of that because, again, from the smaller productions, it could just be as something as we need to set up with sticks. You talked about the back alley, you might just be working with MPD. Like, there's different layers to this. That one sounded a lot more complicated. What are those conversations like to actually get that done?
There are levels. And let me just start with, we treat every level the same. And I'm speaking personally, my colleagues. For me, I am more passionate about the indie filmmaker, the smaller filmmakers, the student filmmakers, because for me, it's important to support people's dreams. Like, that's just where I am in my career. So I give the same level of attention and care to smaller productions and indie filmmakers that we give to larger studios. So I just want to say that it
I love
doesn't
it.
matter. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be spending $10 million applying to the rebate fund to get attention and thoughtful attention. So I just want to say that.
I appreciate that. We'll talk a little bit more about like the indie, the smaller,
Yeah.
but also just the local, if you will, crews and filmmakers who are
That's
here.
my heart, because I want people to win. Right? I am just given to the underdog, if you will. And so I approach work every day from that perspective. Okay. So whether we know your name or not. Back to your question about Wonder Woman, which is top of mind for me because that was one of the larger productions that I've been blessed to permit. It starts with tremendous advanced planning. Okay. Months. So we get a phone call. Our associate director, Herbert Niles, will get a phone call from a production or a location manager who's been retained here in DC, who's going to be working on the project. So we're grateful when we get those phone calls that say, hey, this is coming. And this is around the time frame that is possibly going to come. Depending on the size and scope of the support that's needed, our first recommendation is that you need to go before the Mayor's Special Events Task Group, which is a group in D.C. that supports large events, special events, marathons, marches, all of those type of events that require interagency support.
Gotcha.
Phenomenal group of people made up of representatives from all of the agencies in the city, federal agencies. So there is a Mayor's Special Events Task Group that meets once or twice a month, and event organizers come before that task group to present what they need, and every agency that they need to get support from is in the room at the table. What we have learned is that it's equally important for large productions like a Wonder Woman to come before the task group to say, this is what we want to do, this is what we're asking for. And everybody that we need their support, whether it's DPW, DDOT, shutting down streets, turning off street lights, redressing buildings, talking to WMATA/Metro. We need to reroute buses. We need to put signs on bus stops so people know this one isn't active during this time. MPD for street closures, DC Fire EMS, Fire Marshal.
Yeah, down to the nitty gritty.
You have generators running with fuel. Sometimes they need to be approved. Always. Your generators need to be approved. There are many, many layers to that. And starting with the task group, that's where we would start, so that they know it's coming, so that they can plan accordingly. And then it comes to us. They start putting in applications for film permits based on the locations that they want to film. Wonder Woman, let's stick with that. They wanted to shut down Pennsylvania Avenue from 3rd Street Northwest all the way up to 15th Street. And then Independence Avenue from 6th maybe up to 14th. It's a lot.
You're taking out half the city. My goodness. A quarter of the city just
It's a
going
lot.
for this thing.
Georgetown, M Street, Wisconsin Avenue, K Street, Water Street.
Major thoroughways. Yeah.
It was a lot of work, and there were thousands of emergency no parking signs. And that's what was taking so long. Or it rains. Vikki, we need to redo this location for this date, or these locations for these dates. We want to do a motorcade scene. And these are the streets where we want to drive, so we're going to need intermittent traffic control. So they're rolling closures.
Right, not the ones
Instead
that you're
of
able
just-
to plan for
right.
2 to 3 months in advance.
Right,
Now
they're
it's
just
like 2 weeks
rolling-
before because of
rolling
weather
closures.
delay. We have to pick up a day, so
And we have to come back and do some pickup shots.
and we have to figure this out now.
Oh, and we have an aerial shot. So we need an aerial support letter.
And these are just these different things that they may just come up with the messiness
In
of
real
production,
time.
if you will. Right.
In real time. Or location managers do the location scout. These are the locations we found. These are the locations we secure. The director comes I don't like that.
So I have this question because you talked about DC is easier to get these permits.
Yeah.
How in these situations did that process get completed easier?
It did, because I say this in every conversation I can. We have built relationships with other agencies who know when we come with a request that it's been thought out, that we've planned in advance as much as we can. So once we know the details of what the request is, it really is a matter of plugging and playing, right? And them saying, yes, we can do that. No, we can't do that. I want to also mention that, DC is responsible for the waterway, the Potomac, people wanting to film there. We get also requests to film bridges, which is a little nuanced, but MPD most of the time is a part of that process as well. And everything that I'm saying was a part of Wonder Woman. Wow. And it was months.
Months of processing.
Preparation.
Yeah.
Permitting for a few days.
I was going to say, how long were they even here for so much of the actual collaboration?
2 weeks.
Wow.
2 weeks, all day, all night. And a lot of scenes like that are done overnight so that it does not impact vehicle traffic, pedestrian traffic,
work traffic.
Yeah. We're affecting street lights, signal lights.
That sounds like a fun thing to put on your resume.
It was fun after it was over.
Yeah. And you said you're able to show up on set and like, I did this. Like it's those moments.
Or watch it, be flying somewhere and Wonder Woman 1984 is one of the movie selections, and just to watch it, to see the scope, because it's like when you're in it, you don't really get the magnitude of it.
Your head down is working, typing away,
head down,
out phone calls,
working,
left and
just
right.
like the opening scene, Cam. This is awesome, right? But this is just what you do, right? You show up like, I'm here, I'm planning, I'm coordinating, getting logistics ready. But I know it's got to be fulfilling to see how amazing it is. The finished product, right?
You'll get there. I think to your point, like once my head comes out from the sand, once I'm not in the mix of that cycle, once I'm able to be on a plane and see this show somewhere on a plane, maybe we'll get there. But
you are there now, Cam.
It's just, once you get to that point.
It's just getting better. I mean, really.
Step back and
I got to give you some love. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And just putting it together and getting it done.
Yeah.
Right? People don't see that from the outside. And that's with any production. They just see the finished product. Oh, it's good. I loved it. You got to watch it. You got to do it. But it is the behind the scenes work of it all that when you see the finished product, you're like, yeah, it was worth it.
Every single conversation, it is worth it. Every single connection is worth it. Yep. So you're talking about building relationships.
But this is great.
Thank you.
So proud of you. And DC is proud of you. Like, we get to say DC's own. Filmed right here.
I won't say it. PG, but we're all same collective.
DMV. When you want to be on scene, outside in public space, we got you.
That support means a lot.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that support, and we talked about the Wonder Woman side of the major productions, studio productions that are coming, but there is a massive local ecosystem of creatives that are already here, and the DMV we'll call it, but also just DC in particular.
Yes.
How is it, or what is it that the DC Film Office is doing these days to help make the process for filmmaking for local filmmakers easier and more consistent?
Like I said, the application and permitting process is the same, no matter the size of the production, whether you have from 0 to 9 cast and crew or 70 plus, it's the same. We recently have become more engaged with the local film community.
Okay.
More networking opportunities, connecting opportunities, sharing information, showing up at events, panel discussions, getting them in the same room to have conversations is what my colleague Lakeisha Wells, shout out to my manager.
Shout out Lakeisha, the manager, that is.
Call Sheet Connect is what is becoming a really popular gathering of filmmakers and creatives, that we come together. Lakeisha just rounds up an amazing group of people at different locations around the city, And we invite filmmakers to come and spend time and talk and connect with each other. Mm-hmm. Because what I like to say is, you know, what you need might not be on the stage, maybe sitting at the table with you or sitting, you know, on the sofa with you. Get to know somebody that's in the room. Leave here with a resource so you can build a relationship. Yeah. So there are different events like that. We want to show up at more film festivals, you know, and just be a support. We have our Real Scout that you can look up locations, you can look up vendors, you can look up crew. Our goal is to expand as the opportunities expand for more independent filmmakers.
How are those opportunities expanding? Or how do you see the opportunities expanding, should I say?
Well, like I said, getting on the ground, grassroots is really how we are connecting with filmmakers. Social media, of course. Social media is just that. I love getting offline and in person.
In real life.
And so we are creating spaces where, you know, filmmakers and other creatives can come together and connect in person.
I have this question, just thinking about the indie filmmakers who sometimes just don't have the budget and they're low on their budget. You know, you mentioned the cost might range depending on how many days or what you're trying to do, the complexity of the request when it comes to permitting.
Yes.
Has there been thoughts around a discount for, like, say, if your budget's under $250,000 or a certain threshold that allows for permitting still to be needed and completed, but possibly more feasible for the indie filmmaker who may not have the means to be like, I'm going to spend.
You know, our permitting fees, Cam, are probably the lowest. I'm going to almost say in the country, like in film-friendly cities.
Okay.
Because we've been asked often, you know, or had internal conversations around that. Like, it's not expensive to film. It's really not. To answer your question directly, we have not talked about discounts. Mm-hmm. We've talked about increasing them a little bit, but nothing beyond reach. Right? Nothing beyond reach. Like, we can support you in other ways that will bring some balance to what you're spending.
Yeah, I definitely want to give credit to what you said in the conversation just about the relationships, like to be able to come to the DC Film Office. And again, we think about DC, it's not just this, I won't say it's not a film-friendly town, but just to think about the different agencies that surround DC, it might feel daunting or intimidating. But to be able to come to the DC Film Office, and you said, let that be your first stop, and then let those relationships that you all have kind of help filter through the different agencies and see, like, hey, this is where you need to go. We can help you with this step, but then the next 3 steps, go to MPS or go to
because
MPD.
We're not gatekeeping.
Yeah.
We're really not. We're not hoarding the information. We want to share it. Mm-hmm. That's why when you see advertisement for Call Sheet Connect or on the set conversations, come. It's free. I'll say it again. It's free.
Sounds really good to
Yeah, it's free, and that's where you build value and where you build relationships that show up somewhere along the line in your career, you know, and on your journey to help you get done what you want to get done.
You talked about you're a creative. Yeah. You've mentioned almost 10 years, if not 10 years plus, inside the DC Film Office, and your passion for helping indie filmmakers the same as you might be enjoying working with the major film studios.
Yes.
Why is filmmaking important to you?
Storytelling is important. And film is an avenue to get our stories told, to get our voices heard, and to have our legacies remain so that generations of people coming behind us can see, know, and understand the costs, right, and the sacrifices that have been made so that those coming behind us can thrive. I'm big on legacy. Everything that I do is to leave the space or the relationship or the person or the moment better than it was than before I came.
Vikki, that's all I have today.
Kim.
This has been fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate the time.
This is great. Thank you.
I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you for having me.
That's all from us.